Yeah, got it. So hello YouTube. Today we are going to talk about learning English and learning in general. And I will put us in breakout rooms. Let me create. Let me see, while I'm splitting us in breakout rooms, I will just a minute. I will talk really fast about TNT to Arthur and for him to understand what it is and how it works. So TNT is a free space where we can learn English and will not be judged for any reason. I'm not an English teacher, but I'm here to help you somehow and learn, and we will all learn together. So it's a space where we can learn and talk. Let me see who is going to be here in the main room. All right. Sorry, my phone is ringing. I don't know why. And all right, so I will need a leader in each room. Some of you know what is the leader. The leader will be responsible to ask the questions and to make sure that everyone is talking. You are not obligated to follow these order. Oh, did you receive the questions in the chat? Yes, okay. So you are not obligated to follow this order of questions, and you are not obligated to ask and answer all of them. You can even create your own questions, okay? They're just a guide for the topic. And yeah, that's it. Please respect each other and have fun. See ya. Arthur, Diego, Angel, and Fabricio. Please, you will stay here in this room with me. So, Diego, can you introduce yourself?
Good afternoon, guys. Like you can see, I'm Diego. I'm 35 years old. I'm living here in Campinas, near to São Paulo capital, from São Paulo state. Work with data and marketing in a market agency. I have been on TNT since 2021 February. I like this space and our conversations here, the community, and that's it. I'm so glad to be here with you guys in this to talk about this topic.
Awesome. What about you, Fabricio? Can you introduce yourself?
Yes, of course. I'm 26 years old, almost 27. I'm from São Paulo. I started to learn English when I was a child, and it was really fun, but I stopped it. And this month, a company searched for me for an English job opportunity. And I get that I am not as good as I was in the past. So I run to get it study again. I guess it is.
Great, nice to meet you. Edson, can you introduce yourself?
I am the software engineer. My work in progression is today English. It's my first time in bedroom. So I am from Fortaleza. Yeah.
Great. Nice to meet you and welcome. Angel,
Nice to meet you.
please.
Yeah, hello everyone. My internet's lagging a little bit. My name is Ando Miller. I'm geologist from Goiás, live in Campinas near to Diego. And that's all. I've been attending TNT since the beginning of the pandemic, more or less May 2020, I think. That's it.
Great. So let's start talking. Let me see. First question, Fabrício already answered. And why do you learn English? So I wanna ask to Diego. Why do you learn English?
I learn English for two main reasons. One of them is very practical because we need to use, like Fabrício said, people who work with technology. I think all the jobs and all the professions, but especially people who work with technology, it's so important for your self-development and your career development. That this is the practical reason that I learn English. But I have another because when you learn a new language, you open your mind to other cultures, to other countries, to other people too. Yeah, other literatures. You can read good things you open your mind. I think that's a good way to develop your life and your way to interact with the world.
Great. What about you, Arthur?
I couldn't agree more with actually both topics. Like I also work with technology and it's like a must for the career. It's actually the reason why I think Brazil is lagging behind a little bit on the technology market. Like there are so many talented people here that do not speak English yet. And once they start speaking English, like the world is going to respect Brazil so much more on that side.
Yes, I agree.
And I really like as well English as a language because for me it's a lot easier to, express myself with the structures we have in English than in Portuguese. And like Diego also said, it opens up your mind to different ways of thinking, to different ways of expressing. These are also the two reasons why I study English.
Oh, great. What about you, Wendell?
Oh, I agree with you all. English is awesome. I start to improve more my English skills in order to produce my scientific mindset or something like that, because all the science that is produced in the world is in English. However, I'm in love with the language process. Of course, the language brought me a new perspective about how to learn other skill. So since that, I've been studying a lot, learning new things, especially language. I consider nowadays all the things is language, and more or less passing through language is totally in line with this subject today. So that's it.
I forgot to say that if you want to comment something that other person said, you can just say, okay, you don't need me to say your name and wait. You can just say if you want to say something. Please, Fabrício. Oh, you already answered. Do you want to add something more?
No, nothing more.
All right. So what was or what is the hardest thing about learning English to you, Fabrício?
All right. In my case, I believe how I start to learn early I hadn't too much difficult, but there is a gap of more than 10 years that I stopped studying. And now I think that my speaking is too slow. I can think about what I need to say when I'm reading or when I'm writing, but when I need to speak, I get some and this is boring me.
And what about you, Diego?
Yeah, I think that I have the same problem, Fabricio. I study a long time, but it's not something with English, but our way to study in Brazil is not so practical way, yeah. And on the classes in high school or the middle school, elementary school, we something study grammatical issues or make problems so common, and we didn't talk in English. We didn't have the experience like we have right now on TNT, for example. Yeah, and the good way to improve your English or to start learning is on community, because when you see one child, they learn in contact with other people, with other persons, and then we contact with the environment. Yeah, for me it's a difficult thing. Another is more practical. Yeah, for example, I read a lot. I like reading English. My listening is so good too, but when I start to talk, I have a little bit difficult to access the grammar structures, to access the new vocabulary. Is very difficult. If I read one entire phrase, one entire sentence, for me it's so easy to understand with the context, but when I start to talk, I have a little bit difficult. Yeah. Another one is when we start, for example, one meeting on my job. They start, if I don't have a kind of a warm-up, for me it's very difficult. Yeah, I start, hello guys, it's and I really needed to talk a little conversation about the weather, about the rain, yeah, to start the conversation. That's it for me. Yeah.
You have to turn on English and turn
Yeah,
off.
turn on English mode, and
Yeah.
I think
Got
that
it.
one good achievement for me is dream English. If I start dream English, for me, it's I zerei my life, yeah, zerei my life, yeah. For
Right.
me, it would be so good, yeah.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
about you,
that
Arthur?
is something very interesting. Like I was once living outside of Brazil and I was in Germany and I heard some people speaking a different language and I stood there like for 1 hour until I understood
Oh,
they were speaking Portuguese because I wasn't expecting to hear Portuguese, you know. So I was like for 45 minutes, 1 hour hearing two people on the bus stop with me talking, imagining what language is this. And of course it was from Portugal, you know, like the accent is different, but I didn't expect to hear it, so it was very hard for me. But on English, my personal opinion is that speaking is the greatest challenge because it's the one thing that all the English institutions that you get to know throughout your life have difficulty to address because it's not easy to get a like a conversation going with 30 students at the same time. It's not easy to have like it automated. You can't like, there is no voice over chatbot that's good enough to understand you as a person would. Like Alexa doesn't do this, you know? And in the end, it's the one first skill that any job opportunity is going to like evaluate you on. You know, you're going into an interview, you're gonna have to speak, but it's the least, like it's the last one that you get to practice at length, even because in Brazil we don't have many spaces where we can like go into and start talking with the community and the environment. So I kind of agree that speaking for me is the hardest challenge. And if you stop for like 10,000 years, 10,000 years, for 10 years to get back to it, is like you're rusty, you want to get the speed back, and I went through that as well. And one of the reasons to be here is exactly to maintain, like, you know, the machine oiled and not to lose the practice, because it has an impact.
Got it. What about you, Wendell?
Well, this question is awesome because it's something that I've been thinking a lot. I think is the hardest thing that Brazilians, especially, you know, we have is the problem, the hardest thing that we cannot, you know, accept is to be open-minded to commit mistakes. I don't know, you know, I've been talking a lot of people with a lot of people, and it's very it's incredible that Brazilian is so, you know, have so fear to commit mistake and to push yourself too much.
Yeah,
it's so interesting. Other thing about the skills is pretty much the way that they do not teach the logic of the language. You know, all the things we need to start to teaching or to learning from the logic. It's the same in technology, isn't it? So, you know, we start from the logic. We start from the logic in science. We start from the logic in any, you know, any subject that we need to learn. So I would say that is the hardest thing that we don't know or you don't used to do.
Yeah, usually we start learning by grammar, right? We usually start learning by grammar. Like,
yeah,
this is actually a flaw in every subject I have ever had, not only English, but right? They usually don't tell you the why in the beginning. They just like go into it as if you already knew why, right?
Something that Angel said is really interesting. For example, when I see someone start talking, saying, "Oh, sorry about my English. Oh, I'm not so good," and then the person is talking English just like talking Portuguese. So when someone starts a conversation like this, I know that this person is Brazilian, and it's something about us. It's something. As Angel said, I don't know why, but we are kind of afraid of committing mistakes. But even though when we are talking in Portuguese, we commit a lot of mistakes.
If I can add one other point to the discussion. Like Endo said, it's very important to understand the error culture. It's so important, yeah. Because if we don't accept our errors, we don't improve ourselves in any kinds of situations, our jobs, our lives, our personal lives, in the all of our situations that we live in. I remember when I worked in a big company, and this company, it's an international company, and I remember one meeting that I'm enter with a lot of afraid about my English. But I'm so confident with my Spanish, and the people, the clients that my company and I will talk, it's Spanish people, yeah. But in all of my companies, something I speak fluently in Spanish. I'm so confident. If se eu travasse my English, I can speak Spanish. Então I'm so confident. But when the meeting start, one high level, it's the person most highly on my company start speaking English. Guys, my mouth it's go down to the I forgot the solo, yeah, because the English is so bad. It's very structured. They talk so clear, but his accent. I recording one piece of the conversation, and I show to one friend who lived in New York, yeah, a long time. This guy talked to me, Diego, it's not a critic, but this English is like when you start here, your life here, like a waiter, and they start to learn English. Her accent, it's so bad, but she was so confident. She will sell to this guy one contract about $5 million with a bad English, yeah? And I'm afraid with my English, I don't know. I don't believe in that. I really needed to talk without afraid, like Endo said. I think that's the way. When you go put out you're afraid, you start to learn. It's very common to make mistakes all the time, but it's very important to be confident and start to talk.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Definitely. I think that's part of our culture. I think that sometimes I don't know what happened with us. I think that we just get afraid of everything like that. We don't trust in ourselves. We are not that confident. We Brazilians, I guess.
I don't know. There are so many things we could think about. Like in Brazil, when people talk about other countries, we usually like embezzle them, like not embezzle, that's not the word, false cognate, right? We usually like beautify them a lot, as if like Europe is awesome, the US is awesome,
Yeah.
Canada is awesome, and Brazil is like hell, you know? And that is one thing. And the other thing is, even in our country, I've seen a lot of prejudice from the older people when we are at home and like we speak wrong Portuguese. At least my grandfather in my family, he was very skeptic, like you're speaking wrong and stuff like that. So not sure, because there are many things that explain or fears of making mistakes with the language.
Yes, last week I was listening to a podcast, and the interviewer was a man who worked with data science in the Silicon Valley in Facebook, and he told that most part of the people was working there in Facebook, it's non-American. It's from another countries. So no one speaks a good English in the Facebook of the Silicon Valley. There is one or two that is really American and speaks very well. The rest, it's like people in Brazil, I suppose.
Yeah. What podcast was that? I'm curious.
1 minute.
There is one. Go ahead, Fabricio. Sorry.
It's one of these two, Let's Data and Naked Data Science from Spotify. The interview was Mario Filho from channel, something like that.
The Kegel Master.
Yes.
Mario Filho, the Kegel Master. Yeah.
Yes.
I hear one podcast that the two girls present about English conversations. Yeah, one good phrase that these girls use it to, like a slogan of their podcast is, we need to focus on connection, not perfection. I think that's a good slogan, because if you have a connection right now, we are connected. And we understand a lot with mistakes, with different words, synonyms, false cognates, not problem, but we are connected. If we focus on connected, I think that's the good way to make a clear and a good conversation.
Yes, I agree. When I was younger, there was a time that I wasn't working. So I baked a cake and go to Paulista Avenue to sell this. It's what a different experience. And then I find an Australian man, and he was lost. So I helped him and talked with him a lot. And in this opportunity, he told me that I had good English, so, but I can communicate it. And this gave me a little more confidence to talk with people.
Yeah, I think that we just have to be confident and just start. Yeah, have faith, have confidence, and just start talking. You just have to start, and then you will improve. And but I agree with you all. I think that talk is something really hard. I mean, in my English experience, it wasn't that hard because I started learning English when I was a kid, just like Fabricio. And it wasn't like, how can I say it? It was, I don't know, how can I say it? I spent a lot of
more normal. It wasn't like learning something from another country. It was learn something.
Exactly. It wasn't so hard because I spent a lot of years learning, so it wasn't that hard for me, because I had to study one thing, and then when I completed this thing, I had other challenges, and it was okay. It wasn't something everything in front of me, and then I had to start. So it was something okay. But when I had to talk out of classroom, you have no idea. It was something like traumatic, but yeah, today I'm okay.
But let me add 2 points. The first point is speaking is the output of all the skills. All the skills, the production of the language. So it's hard in Chinese, in English, The second point is, if you have to make a presentation, even Portuguese, in the beginning, you will stay nervous. So you have to normalize that, internalize as well. So this is normal. And sometimes you think, oh my God, but I'm afraid in the beginning of a presentation. Man, even in Portuguese, I'm afraid in the beginning of the presentation. Because it's a presentation. You are presenting something.
Yes.
So yeah, that's it.
In the college, there were people who cry when they need to make a presentation in front of the class. So it was in Portuguese. So it's really hard.
Sorry, Gabriele, in which form was you? With who?
I was in Bruna.
Great. Okay. So, guys, you have no idea. When I start TNT, it's like just in my first TNT, the first TNT that I've ever hosted. It's like every time. It's like this. And Diego might know that my meetings start always late, like 3 minutes late. I am here for a long time before the meeting start, but I'm just afraid. So I stay here waiting for 3 minutes until I click on the button to release everyone. Yeah, that's it. So I always wait these 3 minutes because I am nervous, just because of that. And I did it like, I've been hosting meetings since 2020, so, and I still get afraid in each meeting.
Yeah.
So, do you guys, let me see. I know, Do you, what do you do when you struggle to learn something? You just give up, or you keep trying, or try new strategies? What do you do when you struggle to learn something?
Trying. I keep trying. I think it's important to keep trying, you know, as much as you can, because I think the first impression is always kind of bad when you have some, you know, problem on learning something. So yeah, and nowadays I'm trying to use the same way I did to learn English, you know, in other things, like to see in a lot of different scales, you know, in trying to connect both skills, and then, you know, see create a big picture about the whole content, and then start to, you know, see the details about the stuffs. I think it's good because you can split that big one that you want to learn, and then you can, you know, pay attention on the details and can connect the things like it's like a game, you know, and you can have fun doing it.
Yeah.
What an interesting point of view. What about you, Arthur?
Well, I have mixed feelings about that actually. Like, working with technology and coding a lot of things, I'm kind of addicted to learning new stuff, right? But sometimes with the amount of things we gotta do, I many times get myself wondering, like, is it worth it? How much time do I need to learn this? And how much time do I actually have? So sometimes I just have to make choices on, like, I'm going to pursue this or not, because I want to pursue these other stuff or not, you know? So, but when we are talking about something that I deeply value, for instance, English, I do not give up as well. I keep trying, and I am very, like, I like to explore different ways of studying it because of that brain connection thing that people talk about. I'm not a specialist, but I believe in that. So I'm like, okay, so if I can read a book in English that I like, let's say Percy Jackson, let's say Harry Potter, a book that is not technical, that it has nothing to do with what I do on my work, you know, just a book. And then I'm like, I can watch a series, say the Avatar, The Last Airbender, you know, or stack up a lot of English experiences of all around, all types of content, doing exercises, doing listening stuff, doing reading, all these. I like to mix it up. It gives me richness in vocabulary, it gives me a lot of things. And then, as Endo said, like, speaking is the output of everything together, right? So the more we speak, the less we get those blank spots when you were like, I was gonna say this, and then you, what? You know, you get less of that, and you're able to get all these multiple connections you built from everywhere and blend them together in something that is that has cohesion, I think. Something like that.
Yeah, sometimes it's the problem is the way that you are trying to learn, not the subject itself, right?
Yeah.
What about you, Fabrício?
Well, in my case, I grew up listening that I really can learn anything, and I really believe this. So I believe I'm stubborn when I need to learn something, even when I had difficulty. But my real problem is after learning. I almost always give up all after start to learning. So when I start to get good, I start to think like, oh, I don't need to work anymore. And when I see I lost all my job, that's my real problem, constance. But I'm working on this.
And Diego?
In my case, I try new strategies, like the Arthur said. Especially, I like this framework, like Endo said, because it's a very scientific. Yeah, we can see that Endo is a very scientific guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
he work with this. It's so important to use this way to study and to make science in other things of our lives, other studies, other topics. For example, I'm always try to link it this topic that I will study with a very concrete, a very real situation of my life. For me, it's very important. And after I try to understand more the whys behind this topic. And when I use this to solve one problem. On my job, I use it to solve problems all the time. I need to use the data, the numbers to solve problems. And I use it to make questions all the time. It's very important. And I use this to study too, yeah? For example, I'm studying right now, for example, the statistic, for example. All the time, why I use this, when I use this, who is the people who start this study, yeah? And after this zoom out of the problem, I drill down in each subtopic of this big topic, and I make a kind of, if it's a difficult topic, I make a kind of a mental map about this, and I put down to revisit this mental map, this picture, to don't forget about the topic.
You told us a lot of good strategies to learn it. You have no idea. And there's something that you said that is put everything you learn in daily examples, right?
A context.
And yeah, and that's remind me the name of this meeting. The name that I put is Involve Me and I Learn. Actually, there is a phrase, a quote from Benjamin Franklin that is,
good.
Tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I learn. So it's everything that you said.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
Can I make a personal question?
Please.
For Diego? I'm studying data science. Right now I'm working with network. There is little time, some years, and I'm looking for something to the next years, next 10, 20 years. And I would like to know what do you believe is important to get the first job in data science? Right now I'm studying Python.
Yeah. It's very important to understand that the tools like Python, R language, yeah, and for example, pandas, data frames, all these tools is something, one way to solve a problem. Yeah, it depends on your profile, yeah, your role, but all my time I use it to solve problems to a business. Yeah. And when I study data science on the past, my main goal is use the data science, this tool, like the name is data science, to solve problems. And I'm go to on other side of the career, not 100% technical career, but I went to the data science mixed with data analytics role. Yeah, but if you are a technical guy and you like coding all the time and make relationship between tables, SQL, Python, I think that you can understand more about data engineer. Yeah, it depends on your dream with the career and when you would develop your career. But it's very important to understand that not focus something on the tools. Focus in a solve a problems and they make a good. It's the main advice. Make one good portfolio. It's so important. Use it to solve problems in real life, like Bia said. And that's the topic of our answer in this question. It's take the problem and use the tools to solve and show to the people that you are good in solving problems. That's the way to start a career. And a good portfolio is so good to start your career.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. On the data engineering side, if that is what you're looking for, I also encourage you to have a look on DevOps and the connections between backend technologies, because usually when I work with data engineering people, they are responsible for setting up machines, constructing the lakes, and connecting all the data. And there is a lot of like understanding of those technologies aside only from the code. You know, like they need to understand how those integrations play together so that they can access a huge amount of data when, you know, I'm not going to get too technical here. But
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm working on hard this.
Nice.
I love when people connect like that. Please, Arthur.
And another thing that you can try if you want to, if you're spending time working on this and you want to create a portfolio, but you don't have one, like there are some friends of mine that went to work with data abroad. They started by doing data challenges from companies. Like there are companies like IBM and some other companies that open like challenges for people to solve precision machine learning problems and that kind of stuff. But there's also like the open source community. You know, if you're going to code something that has relation to data, you can start by operating on those kind of open libraries.
You can search to the hackathons, for example, Mercado Livre and all the banks, BV Bank, Neon, Nubank, make a lot of hackathons with a real problem, and they use it to hire a lot of people from these hackathons. We start a career, It's very interesting.
Research this.
And the English is so important.
Yes.
If I can make one kind of a graph, a pizza graph, I put the English with 40% of the importance. If you don't have a good English, for your career, it's so important.
Yes.
Yeah.
So keep coming.
I say this for everybody that works with me, like English in all the stacks, in all the technology careers that I've been having contact with, like 100% of them need good English. It's not as much like the language you work with, the technology you work with, or the combination of those, but English is always fundamental. So like,
yes, I am doing an Kaggle course. And it's in English, so
all of our literature, good topics are in English. Mário Filho write in English in Brazil because they write to other people abroad. It's so important to understand the people English and talk in English. All of the big fintechs, I make a lot of job interviews from Nubank, from other banks. All of them, you need to be a good English to start in.
Yes.
Guys, I have to interrupt you. Before I bring everybody back, I need Angel to answer one question. Do you think that the question is number 5? Do you think that the learning process is always hard? Like no matter what is the learning, but is it always hard, Angel?
But it's not, I think it's not always hard. You know, I think you face something new is hard because you don't know. It's the perspective that you feel, you know, about that subject, that issue, or something that you want. Because you don't know how to deal with this kind of that is new. So we consider hard because we always is a kind of human behavior, trying always to stay in your comfortable zone. And something that get out of your comfortable zone, you'll consider that it's hard, but it's not, it's just new.
Fair enough. So welcome back, guys. People are still coming back. So how was it in your room? How was it, Antonio? How was the conversation? How was this experience?
It was very nice. I'm thinking a lot about English and the learning and have fun. It's a good topic.
Awesome. Let me see. People are coming back. And Arthur, please, it was your first time, so tell me, how was this experience?
It was quite nice. Actually, we connected in things that we have in common. So I wasn't expecting that. It was pretty cool to hear thoughts on how speaking plays a part of using all the parts of English that we study all around, to hear other people voicing their thoughts about the Brazilian people learning English and the challenges we face all around as well, and how different people deal with that. And it was quite interesting to be here. And it was a nice opportunity to practice as well, because we don't get that many opportunities, right? To in the street speak English in Brazil.
Yeah, definitely. And actually that's the main reason of TNT exist. It's to connect people. We are here to connect people. English is just an excuse, as a friend of mine always says. English it's just an excuse. We are here to connect people. And I want to ask, let me see, to Márcio, how was it in your room? How was this experience? Are you there? All right, so let me see.
Sorry, Mia, I'm here.
How was it?
I like very much this experience. I know new friends where we can conversation about several subjects. I like to participate the TNT with us. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. And the last one, Fabrício, it's your second time, so I want to hear from you. How was this experience? How was this conversation?
Well, for me, it's really good. It's an opportunity to work my English, connect with people. I even connect with, I believe that is the right person, Diego, in the LinkedIn. If I find him, I believe it's think with your heart. Yeah, so it's really, yes. So it is a real good opportunity to be part of movement of people going forward, something like this. I forgot the word, but I suppose that it is my second week, and I pretend to be here again the next weeks.
Great. So I put a survey in the chat, a link to a survey, and it's a feedback there. You can tell me how was this experience. You can tell me, oh, it was good because of that. It wasn't good because of that. I didn't like, or I liked because of that. So you can put everything you want in this link. And you can also tell me suggestions, like next week I want to talk about, I don't know, about art. So you can suggest topics or something like that. And we are running out of time, so that's it, guys. It's just it's always a pleasure to be here with you. So see ya next week.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Guys,
Yeah.
bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
See you next opportunity.
See ya.